this is LOL JAX Artist Corner. And today I have Royce Freeman, and he's going to be on set talking about In Utero. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. So let's start with the actual film. Without giving too much away, tell us a little bit about it, and then also the style, like, in regard to, what type of film we would think this would be. Like, how would you describe it?
It's a thriller with harder edges than your basic run-of-the-mill. It kind of has grindhouse themes, but I always joke around that it's as if the grindhouse and the style of like Hitchcock or those kinds of classy filmmakers came together, made a baby, no pun, and it's like a hybrid of sleazy class.
Okay. So now, it looks like you called all cars from the film community, so to speak. So what was it like having so many different people, work on your set, whether it was behind the scenes or in front of the camera? How was that like?
Well, the expression, you have too many cooks in the kitchen. It doesn't necessarily apply to this, even though it kind of does, but in a good way, because what you end up having is you had your main group of the 5 leads, so we were always shooting with them unless we had peripheral characters that we had to deal with. Usually that meant breaking free of the house.
Right.
So sometimes while we were doing that, we had people that were able to come out just for a day and help out. And most of those people were people that I had worked with on other shorts and projects. It was like calling in favors, It's like, hey, I'm doing something, you mind helping out? And it was great because those people that normally are directors or cinematographers were coming in to do work that wasn't their normal skill set. So they were bringing a lot of knowledge and were able to apply it to other skills. So sometimes somebody would suggest something that wasn't necessarily what they were focused on at the moment, but our cinematographers, the Pig Tree guys, Daniel, Nick, and Sam, they were always willing to accept help from everyone else because there's no bad idea.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't something we could always do, their ideas, it's like you can't unhear something. Sometimes it would force us to refine our idea anyway, even if we can't use their idea. And sometimes we were like, that's better than our idea.
Right.
So we were very humbled by the support system the Jacksonville film community showed, and it was great.
Yeah. Now, was this your most difficult project to do to date?
Everything has its own challenges. Like, this is my second feature, and I've done short films, commercials, and other projects in between. And sometimes a short film, you can be the most prepared because it's really, you can be, get everything in line, and it's the one day, so you can go. With a film, it's more like a marathon than a sprint. So it had its own challenges, but we were shooting in a house that was 80 degrees, and even when it was 90 degrees outside, putting the AC on inside the house, you could turn on the AC, but it was like dropping an ice cube in boiling water. Right. It made no difference. And we were all miserable while we were shooting it, just like the characters in the story. They're supposed to be in an old abandoned house with a beat-up generator keeping some kind of electricity going and air, but we were all sweating. Characters were sweating, so... It was like method acting, method filmmaking.
Got it. Now, was there any difficulty with getting locations for filming?
We wrote something that, I wouldn't say was unfilmable, but we wrote without any mindset of how can we do this. We wrote it with big budget in mind. So we were like, oh, that ratty kind of deserted cabin you see in every classic horror movie of the old dark house, So we wrote this elaborate situation, and then when we were like, well, we're going to film this, and this guy, Josh Townsend, that we know, said, you can shoot at my house. It's he's a really great guy. His house has been shot, almost every film in Jacksonville shot in his house, and he's a hard rocker, so there's some holes in the walls anyway, and he
worked perfect.
We added a few more holes, but he was cool about that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so now I know the venue is going to be at Sunray, but
right.
Sunray was, kind of like the universe wanted you to have it there. So tell us a little bit why you picked Sunray, and then tell us about the date and the time that we can actually see, because it's going to premiere there.
Well, Sunray, I kind of say, and this is like the idea of the metaphor of birth. You know, this movie has that going on. The first film I did, Rapture, it premiered at Sunray a couple of years ago, and all those short film showcases that Richard Kadai and other, Adam Madrid and Tim Driscoll, all these groups, they always have their little showcases at the theater. So I'm meeting all these filmmakers there, artists.
Right.
And when we had the premiere, we were like, we want to do another thriller, and we met people there. So we're going to actually figure we'll show the movie where I basically birthed it, you know, at the Sunray Cinema.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to show it at the Sunray at 7 p.m. on May 7th. And it's going to be great. Show up around 6:30, 6:45, get a drink. Tim and Shanna that run the Sunray are great. They have a bar. They have nice snacks.
The best popcorn in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and we're gonna do a little something before we get up and talk a little to the audience. Maybe some light Q&A afterwards.
Sure.
We have a big banner set up for people, the paparazzi, to be able to do their little silly photos people like to take at the premieres, red carpet, the whole shebang.
Good deal, good deal. Well, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for telling us about the film. I'm excited for you. Another feature under the books. You can breathe easy and enjoy the premiere, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I can actually get a full night's rest now.
Good deal. All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Royce. Thank you for tuning in, and we are